Isn't it great to receive a box of books and not know exactly what's inside? Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and today I'm going to be unboxing this. It is filled with books. I'm not sure exactly what's inside. They come from Lee, my friend from YouTube who watches my videos, who comments, who watches my live stream and comments. And when she finishes a book, she sometimes sends me a Voxer message and say, Greg, would you be interested in this book? And I often say, yes, I would be interested in that book. And a couple times per year, she sends me a box of the books that she has finished. I don't know exactly what is inside this box, but I will find out. I am pretty sure there is a few mysteries translated from the Japanese. So let's see what's inside. I'm going to put on my reading glasses because sometimes the print on the back of a book is very small. Lee sent me a personal note. I will read that to myself later. So, Polybius, the rise of the Roman Empire. This should be good. I don't think I've ever read this one. And this is, of course, just ancient Roman history. I'm actually currently reading a book that Lee sent me. That was the biography of Caesar by Adrian Goldsworthy. All right. Digging for Richard by Mike Pitts, The Search for the Lost King. This is a book that she recommended to me a number of years ago. I got it out of the library, but I wasn't able to read it before it was due back. So this is about digging up the body of Richard III in England. This should be some great history. Some Japanese mystery in translation. And I am going to almost certainly butcher the pronunciation of the Japanese name, Sazishi Yokomazo. And let's give some background. This is in the winter of 1937, the village of Okayama is abuzz with excitement over the forthcoming wedding. But amid the gossip, there is also a worrying rumor. It seems a sinister masked man has been asking questions around the village. Then on the night of the wedding, the this is the Japanese name, Ichiaganga household are woken by a terrible scream, followed by the sound of eerie music. Death has come to Okamura, leaving no trace but a bloody samurai sword thrust into the pristine snow outside the house. Soon, amateur detective Kayasuke Kindanachi is on the scene to investigate what will become the legendary murder case. But can this scruffy sleuth solve a seemingly impossible crime? I have read a few Japanese murder mysteries. They are a little different from the ones written in English, but this should be great. Another one. This is the Inugami Curse. In 1940 Japan, the wealthy head of the Inugami clan dies, and his family eagerly await the reading of the will. But no sooner are its strange details revealed than a series of bizarre, gruesome murders begin. Detective Kindanachi must unravel the clan's terrible secrets of forbidden liaisons, monstrous cruelty, and the hidden identities to find the murderer and lift the curse. wreaking its bloody revenge on the Inagamis. And the Deacongon House Murders. The lonely Rockabout Island of Tantinami is notorious as the site of a series of bloody, unsolved murders. Some say it's haunted. One thing is for sure, it's the perfect destination for the K University Mystery Club's trips. But when the first club member turns up dead, remaining amateur sleuths realize that they will need all their murder mystery expertise to get off the island alive. As the party are packed off one by one, the survivors grow desperate and paranoid, turning on each other. Will anyone be able to untangle the murderer's fiendish plan before it's too late? This sounds a little bit like Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. Maybe it's just a riff on that story. All right. Dig in deeper. Memories of Hadrian by Marguerite Yourcenar. I read a Margaret Yourcenar novel when I was at university that was called Coup de Grace. I unfortunately unhauled it in my life. I shouldn't have. That was a very interesting novel. This is translated from the French, and I believe it is a historical novel. Both an exploration of character and a meditation on history. Marguerite Yourcenar's novel, Memoirs of Hadrian, has received international acclaim since its publication in France in 1951. Written in the form of a testimony letter from the Emperor Hadrian to his successor, the youthful Marcus Aurelius. The work is an extraordinary for its psychological depth, for its accurate recognition of the 2nd century of our era, and in it, Yourcenar reimagines Hadrian's arduous boyhood, and triumphs and reversals. And finally, as emperor, his reordering of the war-torn world, writing with imaginative insight of a great writer of the 20th century, while crafting a prose style as elegant as those of Latin stylists of Hadrian's own time. This should be great. Another Japanese mystery. The Village of 8 Graves. Nestled deep in the mountains of Japan, the hamlet of 8 Graves takes its name from a centuries-old massacre. Ever since their bloody day, people say a terrible curse has hung over the village. When young Tatsara arrives from the city to claim a mysterious inheritance, death follows close behind, a series of gruesome poisonings. The villagers' suspicions quickly fall on the newcomer. With help of the famous Kosasaki Kendonachi, Tatsuya must race to uncover the murderer and save his own life before the inhabitants of the 8 Graves take their justice into their own hands. More Japanese murder mystery. This is Death on Gokomon Island. The rock-bound and forbidding Gokyon Island was once a pirate stronghold. Now it is home to the clannish fishing community, dominated by 2 feuding families. When Kurosaki Kendiaki arrives bringing news of a death, it triggers a series of grotesquely staged murders. The scruffy detective attempts to untangle the island's secrets and stop the killings, but a fresh mystery seems to greet him at every turn, and soon he falls under suspicion himself. Alexander Dumas, 1001 Ghosts. I believe this book came up in a discussion on a live stream. It contains a ghost story by Alexander Dumas. Let's see. When Alexander Dumas becomes a witness in a murder case, he meets a collection of individuals who defy his precognitions about life and death. interweaving the narratives of a beautiful blonde vampire victim, an eccentric 270-year-old tarot author, a watchman who encounters the dead kings of France, and a laborer whose wife bit him after he sliced off her head. Dumas teasingly explores the boundaries between science and the supernatural. I have read some Alexandre Dumas. The Count of Monte Cristo is absolutely fabulous. That is a 1,400-page novel. The Three Musketeers is also a great novel. So this should be highly entertaining. Smile as They Bow, a novel by Nunu Yi. Let's see. The first novel ever from a writer living in Burma to be published in translation in America. I heard her talking about this. I have never, of course, read a book by a Burmese author. Let me read the back, or the flap. As the wedding of Tengyabong Festival draws nearer, thousands of villagers from all over Burma descend upon a tiny hamlet near Mandalay in celebration of the colorful, the primarily gay spirits known as Nats, which are central to Burmese tradition. At the center of a raucous festival is Daisy Bond, an elderly transvestite medium known for his sharp tongue and vivid performances. He has long been revealed as one of the festival's most illustrious, there's a word I cannot pronounce there, Nakakadas. At his side is Min Min, his handsome young associate and lover, who endures endless humiliation and abuse from his fiery boss. When a younger beggar girl threatens to steal Min Min's heart, the outrageous Daisy finds himself face to face with his worst fears. Written in a lyrical, intoxicating prose, Smile as They Bow will take place alongside works such as authors as Arundhati Roy and Premyada Ananta Tor. Okay, there we go. I can now read a book from the Burmese. I'm going to check the front flap, and it just says translated from the Burmese by Alfred Brim and Tai Tai Yai. And this novel was originally published in English, a translation in 2008. Well, thank you, Lee, for sending me this fabulous box of books, and I have a lot of reading to do. For everyone who watches this, thank you so much for continuing to the end, and keep on reading.